Dr. Syeed, thank you for joining us. Can we begin simply by asking you to identify yourself and your affiliations?
Well, my name is Sayyid Mohammad Syeed. I come from Washington, D.C. I'm the National Director of Islamic Society of North America.
And what has been your experience of Religions for Peace, and what has it meant for your community?
Well, I represent, as I said, Islam. We were celebrating this year the 50th anniversary of our beginnings. These 50 years have been years of growth, development, for the first time creating a new identity called American Muslims. So today we have 2,000 to 3,000 Islamic centers, mosques. We did not have that many when we started. So in the beginning, we used to pray in the churches. Many of the Christian churches opened their doors to Muslims to offer their Friday prayers, their Ramadan iftars, and other events. So in that sense, our beginning is interfaith. We have strengthened our identity as Muslims because we got full support and cooperation of people of other faiths. So that's how we have responded to the relationship with other faiths. Our mosques are also open door to people of other faiths. So this is a unique experience, and this experience we want to share with the rest of the world, particularly with Europe, where there is so much of Islamophobia, and with Muslim world, where still there is an understanding and a hesitation about the relationship with other faiths, even though Islam is very clear about that. Islam is a pluralist, recognizes pluralism as the divine gift to mankind. So Religions for Peace provides us a vehicle to promote that vision in the rest of the world.
You mentioned that your ability to worship in other faiths, houses of worship,
Right.
Strengthened your faith.
Right.
One of the concerns we hear is that multi-religious cooperation might risk diminishing one's faith. Could you speak about how that experience has affected you and your community?
In our case, you know that we live in a pluralist democracy, and it did not just come up yesterday. It has taken 200 years. For Christians themselves, they had to grapple with different denominations. Catholics came later, Protestants were the early settlers, so Catholics were not welcome like that. And later came Jews, and now we have Muslims there. So this whole process is historical growth and development of multiple religions living together and contributing towards the betterment and richness of the country. It had already set a stage, and it had already set precedents what kind of struggle we will have to go through. So it helps in both ways. On the one hand, it reinforces your own religious identity, and it challenges you to show how best you are going to relate with others and contribute towards the richness, both spiritual and material richness of the country.
And when you think about the changes that you've seen in your community, what has Religions for Peace made more possible or possible more quickly than might otherwise have been the case?
Well, as I told you, we are living in a very difficult times. While I told you that we have very positive experience, though there may be sometimes certain negative instances in somewhere, some mosque may have been vandalized and so on. But what worries every Muslim is the news when comes that a mosque was burned or a church was bombed in some of the Muslim countries. So that's very unfortunate. So it is very critical that we develop local interfaith institutions and those can be approached only when you have this international level, you have the religions for peace. It gives the message of peace, and it gives you a vehicle to approach people of different faiths in those countries. I wanted to say something very quickly, that in America, with all the successes that we have had, 2 years ago, that was 2010, there was a negative development. You might have heard about that when this priest from Florida was threatening to burn the Quran. When the mosque that some of us wanted to build at ground zero was vehemently opposed. When some of the Islamic centers in mid-America in Tennessee were opposed, were not allowed to be built. So at that time, it looked as if American pluralism, American respect for the other was just dwindling. At that time, American Christian and Jewish organizations who have been working with us very closely, they came forward and they told us that this time we are not just going to condemn this anti-Muslim bigotry by sending out a statement, but we want to do something solid, because we believe that attack on one religion is attack on all religions. It's not just Muslims who should defend themselves against this Islamophobia. It's a collective responsibility of other faiths to come forward and show what they are capable of doing against this unholy alliance. So they came forward and they had a major press conference in the National Press Building, condemning what was happening, but at the same time proactively creating a campaign called Shoulder to Shoulder with American Muslims against anti-Muslim bigotry. It's a powerful movement in America. They were able to raise funds, about $250,000, and create the position of a director to head this campaign. It is run by Christians and Jews, different denominations. It's funded by Christians and Jews, and the director is a Christian lady who has experience in fighting against religious bigotry. And the office is in my office, Islamic Society of North America. So here you have people of different faiths coming together, fighting against Islamophobia, religious bigotry, because they believe that attack on Muslims is actually robbing American society of the religious respect and recognition that they have built for generations. So that's why we as American Muslims, we feel obligated, just like our neighbors came to our support, that we want to generate a similar kind of mindset in many of those countries where minorities are under attack.
Dr. Syeed, thank you very much.
Thank you.